everyone. Welcome to another free Friday tidbit. Today, we're going to be talking about time, which is definitely an abstract concept. And it's particularly confusing because there's so many different ways to track time, right? First, there's the difference between an analog clock or digital. We all know digital, right? It's what shows right here. Analog is what most watches are, where the hands go round and round, right? I remember when my stepdaughter, love her. I can't believe she's 40 already. I remember teaching her how to tell time on an analog clock in 5th grade because her elementary school only had digital. So digital is, well, with both of them, there's so many different ways to reference time, right? We have 15 minutes after, which could also be quarter after, or we have 45 minutes after, which is the same thing as quarter till, right? There's just all these different ways of referencing it. And the more different ways we can reference it, the more confusing it is for our loved ones who are challenged in this way, right? We also have the difficulty in tracking the passage of time. Now, I think maybe you will admit to being one of those people that was so engrossed in reading your book or so engrossed with playing your video game that, you know, your parent called you to dinner and it's like, you kind of heard them, but they were, you know, back there, right? And you ignore it. But for folks with FASD, it's deeper than that. It's literally getting lost in what it is that you're doing and not having the ability to realize that time marches on even when we're not watching the clock, right? And that can be a real challenge because you could, you know, that's one of my bugaboos, right? I'm outing myself. I've always described myself as an ish person, which means I naturally tend to have a 10-minute window. If I'm supposed to be there at 8, you can better believe I'll be there no later than 8:10. But that doesn't work for everyone, right? There are certain jobs where you cannot be late, right? Because if you're late, other people have to stay after, and maybe the company doesn't like paying overtime. There can be serious issues with that. Or if you're like my other half, if he's 5 minutes early, he's already late because his little window is the other direction, right? So that can create a lot of conflicts in relationships and can continually land someone in trouble. So there are workarounds for that as well. There are types of watches that kind of go backwards. You know, it's kind of like, you know, with the math issue and the money issue kind of working together, a workaround is enter into your calculator how much money you have available to spend, and as you go through the store, you subtract the amounts. And that way you always know how much is left, right? You can do the same thing with time, right? So, you know, I oftentimes underestimate how much time it takes to complete a task. And therefore, I go all the way up to the very last minute, right? But then I still have things to put away, or maybe I didn't quite get done, right? That's something that a lot of people struggle with. It's a very, very, very common problem. So this week's Free Friday Tidbit was on time and how people with FASD can get tripped up when it comes to time. So there's no magic solution for any one person. We are all affected differently depending on, you know, the timing of exposure, from when the baby was exposed to alcohol, the amount, the frequency, if there was anything else going on, any other substances used, any chronic stress, the genetics, the list just goes on and on and on. So we're all affected differently. But again, this month, we're just focused on abstract concepts, which is anything we can't hold in our hands. And if we could only hold time in our hands, our little ones would stay little a lot longer. Am I right? So that's it for this week's Free Friday Tidbit. I'm so glad you came and watched again, and I'll see you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Have a wonderful week. I hope it's productive and you get done everything that you want to. This weekend, I hope you get to relax and enjoy good health and family and whatever you have going on in your life. And I'll see you next Friday for another Free Friday Tidbit. Remember, if this was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And come join me on Facebook, Caring Connections for those affected by fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. Bye-bye for now.